Not a problem.
With it. We're going live with it. We're going live with it.
We're live with it.
Alrighty.
Here we go. Chick chack, clickety clack. Let me double check. Always double check. Chickeny check. If anyone's tuning in tonight on Instagram, please let us know. Let you know that you can swing on by to Hawk Wins on's YouTubes. Check out the better stream. But yes, we're going live. We're live. We're live. We're totally live.
We're live and in your living room.
Live and in your living rooms. It's been a weird day, Jay Smooth. I was off the nicotine for 48 hours. I lasted a full 48 hours.
How was the first day?
Yeah, it was a little something. Work's been hectic. It's so nice to just pop in a little nicotine on the job, and you keep the day going. Life is weird. Life is weird. Anyways, welcome to Hawkwind's Radio Picture Show, you guys, where we come to you live every Wednesday from Q4 Radio in the beautiful Ukrainian Village neighborhood of Chicago. So in this show, we highlight artists of all different mediums, whether you're a musician or a guitar player, which is a musician, or a filmmaker or a comedian, or even a muralist. We have muralists on the show as well. If you are an artist looking for a platform to showcase your art, to showcase it to the world and let everyone know your story, hit us up here at Hawk Wins. We are taking submissions for people who would like to join our show. And we've had quite a long way along the way, man. We've been doing this for over a year. Check out our latest Instagram posts. I posted with all the flyers that we've had for all the people. And it's been a blessing, Jay Smooth. And I want to thank you again for having me on this epic voyage, brother.
Yeah, man. You too, man. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
How many artists do you think we've done roughly?
Man, in total, I'd say at least in the 200s.
200.
Considering the main shows we've done, people we've had on, averaging maybe three to one to three people, 5 people.
Thing about some of the artists are like full bands we've had on, so
yeah,
that's like 5-6 people right there.
We've given a breath to the art of Chicago for sure. Not that it was like dying or anything, but we're here to again just be a platform for everybody, for them to come on out and tell their story and talk about the ups and downs and who made them the artists that they are today. It's been really fascinating to listen to everybody throughout this entire year. I think one of the big things I learned about is just shut up, or like buck up or shut up. So many people want to talk about art, but then never give themselves the chance to go do it. And I find myself guilty of that too. I'm like, I'm gonna binge watch Svengoolie again, and like I'll work on it later. But no, man, if you want to make the art, you really got to put in the hours. You got to put in the effort to do it. Yeah. So to all you artists out there, keep on keeping on, keep on making art, and I hope this guest we have on tonight, a very great guest. I hope they inspire you. I know she's definitely inspired me through a lot of her work. She does a lot of mural work, including one of my personal favorites, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Svengoolie over at 14th and Damon. She's got that big mural. She's done a lot of other murals around the city. She does art fashion. She does cake fashion. She does baking. She does neon displays, blacklight art, I should say. I don't know if we got into neon yet. My apologies. She's also done a lot of really great printing, paint, and her elements include the duality of life and death, incorporating a lot of skulls and plants, and something we really love on the show, mushrooms.
Love me a good mushroom.
Love good mushroom. It's the perfect symbolism between life and death, Yeah. Through the ashes of failure rise the mushrooms on poop of success.
It's natural.
Something like that. Well, without further ado, everybody, please welcome to the show, Natalia Sustaita.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Natalia, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you coming out. And again, I just want to say I'm a huge fan of your work. And it was funny to I didn't know it was you behind the paintbrush
For real?
until meeting you in person. And well, I did my homework on you. But yeah, I was hoping, maybe for the folks who are just tuning in, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Natalia?
Well, I'm a Mexican-American artist here from Chicago, born and raised. I'm a visual artist, muralist, baker, pastry chef, body painter, all kinds of stuff. I do it all, just all around artist. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking into I was doing a lot of homework on you, and you really don't really stick to one medium. You really do it all.
Yeah.
If you can give us, what are your top 5 favorite mediums? And then maybe your 2 least favorite.
Okay. My least favorite, for sure, I could start off with that, is baking and cakes and stuff. Even though it's fun and people can eat it and stuff, but I just feel like it adds a whole nother element of stress, because people are gonna consume it. If your art or your whatever you make, make someone sick, that's the absolute worst thing possible to happen. Luckily that hasn't happened to me, but it's just the anxiety of it all. It's just so. And then with cakes, there's a lot of variables. You can go wrong in the baking process. It can go wrong in the decorating process. If your apartment is too warm, your cake's gonna melt, or if it's too cold, the icing's not gonna come out, properly. So yeah, there's a lot of variables to that, and you have to be clean on top of it too, and it's just a lot of preparation. So that's probably my least.
Yeah.
Don't really enjoy that, but it makes good money, and I like the end product, and people love it, and so I'll do it because people are, I've been pricing it higher and higher because I don't really like doing it, but it's
Sure.
it's people still buy it, so I'm okay, I know, well, it makes it a little bit more worthwhile for me if I bump those numbers up. So
Yeah. And I've seen some of your work. I saw your work that you did a lot at the Museum of Contemporary Art, and a lot of the catering and stuff
that
out
was
there.
so fun.
That's an art piece in itself. I was hoping maybe you can talk about what's that like as an artist in the high stress area of a kitchen, as we've all seen in The Bear.
Yeah, especially at the Museum of Contemporary Art, they definitely are you eat with your eyes first. When the plate is put in front of you, it's gotta have to look like a piece of art. You want to just take it all in just by looking at it for a second. You don't want to just eat it and not even look. So yeah, it was cool. Some of our cutting boards too, they had measurements. They had ruler measurements on the cutting board, and everything needs to be precise. And if it wasn't precise, it's not going to go in the garbage, but it's probably going to get eaten by somebody the staff, but it's not going to go out. So it was cool. I really appreciated that element where they let you be creative. They let you garnish the dish too with oranges or different herbs and stuff. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. That I loved incorporating the visual aspect of art too. Yeah, because when I worked there, it was catering, so we would just cook everything all at once. And then the plating is where I was my time to shine, Yeah, so that was cool.
Very cool. Now, that's maybe your least favorite medium. What is your, give us some of your favorite mediums that you do like to work with.
Spray paint, for sure. I love working with spray paint. I wish I had more opportunities to do that, just to be able to work bigger. You have to kind of be outside or have ventilation and stuff, so it's better just to be outside. But yeah, I love it. It's the application is so smooth and so fast, and you can get really big really fast, and it dries quickly, and you can paint over stuff really quickly. The saturation is great. I love spray paint. But also acrylic paints too. It's also, it dries fast. It's a very forgiving medium, so if you mess up, you can paint over it, and it's not really a huge issue. So yeah, acrylic paint, spray paint, top mediums for sure that I love. Yeah.
You also do a lot of fashion stuff too. Can you tell us a little bit about your fashion work? And by the way, Squeak Star Zula just commented, "Yay, Nat." She said, "What up?" Shout out Squeak. What up?
Hi. Yeah, Squeak is actually a huge inspiration too. Because before I met her, I would just alter my clothes just on my own to be an individual, and cut up my shirts and my pants and draw on them or do whatever. As an artist, you want to be an individual. You want to just stand out and dress like a little more eclectically, I guess. But yeah, she definitely encouraged me to just make more and like for like the public too. And I do a lot of like printmaking, like lino cuts, and like so I'll stamp them on shirts or on like stuff. And like it all kind of started too with making like battle jackets, like having like those thrash jackets, like sewing patches and making your own stuff. And like, if there's like a certain patch for a band that they don't have it out yet, I paint myself one, So yeah, kind of just stem from my own fashion, wanting to be different. And then eventually seeing other people doing the same thing and like, making money off of it. So and people were showing interest too. So yeah, I was happy to branch out and to do whatever. Yeah, because like you said, I do a lot of different art and I do a lot of different stuff because I'm currently living off of it. So you kind of have to, at least for me, I have to do different things because like not one thing is going to make you enough money to like sustain yourself. You have to branch out and do other stuff. You got to be flexible. I understand that some people just do stick to one thing and they're really, really good at it and they make their money, but that's just not how it works for me. So yeah.
It probably does. You don't want to plateau either, branching out, doing different things. Obviously it's another source of income. I really love your mural work. I was really hoping you can talk to us about your Svengoolie piece over at 14th and Damon and 14th.
Yeah.
I've driven past it a million times. I've stopped 1,000,001 times, taken pictures of it, and it's so cool to finally meet the artist behind it.
Yay.
I was hoping maybe you can talk about the story behind it and the influence that Svengoolie had on your life growing up here in Chicago.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the curator of that wall was named Pease, and yeah, he was just had people from the neighborhood or that he knew come and like paint portraits of Chicago legends, and I forgot, I had somebody else in mind. I forgot who, and then like my friend Natalia, who's also named Natalia, she was like, I'm gonna do Svengoolie, and I was like, damn it, that's a good one. I'm like, man, okay, yeah. I was like, no, that's a good one, But then something came up and she couldn't do it anymore, so she couldn't like paint the wall anymore. So I was like, well, can I do Svengoolie? And she's like, yeah, you should do it. I was like, okay, thank you, But either way, we both, we're both influenced by Svengoolie. We're both like punk, goth, alternative people, so we definitely were very much into Svengoolie and like, the old school like horror stuff, especially, Natalia more so than me. But either way, we're still like from Chicago. We knew about, Svengoolie and being around town. So yeah, that's why I chose him, because he's very popular, and he definitely influenced me too, and like the alternative culture and stuff. So and he was like very local too, and not a ton of people know about Svengoolie that are like outside of the Midwest. Sorry.
He's branching out.
Yeah, he's branching out. And he's more national now, so I'm very, very happy about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was just thinking of like Chicago legends, I was like, of course, Svengoolie, yes.
He's one of them. He's definitely one of them.
Yeah, and it was really cool painting it, and it was actually my first outdoor mural, my first spray paint mural too. So, I mean, I don't know, by looking at it, I'm glad people like it, but like me, if I'm looking at it, I'm like, I could do better, I could do better now, much better now. But it was my first piece, so I'm happy that people like it. But I'm also like a little, I don't know, I feel kind of, I wish better mural of mine would have gone like so much popularity, because like it was on the Svengoolie show too. Yeah, I was so happy, like it got featured, and I'm like, yes, thank you, but I'm like, I wish it was a better one, but it's okay.
Well, he's got new characters now. You can make a new mural of the Svengoolie verse, perhaps.
Yes, that's true. But I do plan on going back and like, touching it up or changing it up, updating it. I have my skills. That was in 2019, I think I did that. So I was like, yeah, definitely gotten a lot better since then.
And I was watching one of your videos about the importance of community in your murals. I forgot where it was, but it was the mural of the guy painting the woman or like across the way. And
yeah.
You guys did a whole thing for the community afterwards, and I was hoping maybe you can talk about the importance of bringing art into the community, the community into art, and the fact that you guys gave out school supplies to kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that was amazing. And honestly, if I could do every mural how we did that one, that would be ideal, because like the first day we just had neighbors. Well, first of all, we told the neighborhood like this is what we're doing, you know, and we asked for like ideas from the neighbors of like what they would like to see. And the first day of painting, we pretty much just had all the neighbors and including us, the artists, like just cleaning up the alley, you know, with trash bags and everything. And then we're like meeting the neighbors and like talking to everybody. We're telling them what's going to happen, you know, the next couple of days. And then thanks to like sponsorships, we were able to get school supplies and stuff like that. I think it was Southwest Creative Studio, or like the beginnings of Southwest Creative Studio. They were the ones that got us those sponsorships. It's all about working as a team, man. It's never just like the artist that's doing all this. Like they almost always have a team of people helping them, whether it's like sponsorships or like people doing like the admin stuff or the advertising, the marketing, like something like it's very difficult to, you know, get far without like people helping you out. And so, yeah, shout out Southwest Creative Studio for, you know, getting the funds, getting just the idea to pass out school supplies and art supplies to the neighborhood kids. Another thing about that mural that I really liked, that was like the whole message about it, is like mental health and how art helps mental health, and how it's also helpful to like reach out to people whenever you do feel like not okay, you know, like people are there for you. But yeah, so like the left side of the mural is like much darker. They have like a mask on, you know, that's supposed to like represent somebody that's depressed, and they're like kind of reaching out and they're painting the right side of the piece. Sorry, I'm like, yeah, but they're painting the right side of the piece, and it's much brighter and happier, and they're creating pretty much like a more beautiful world, you know, than they're currently in, you know. So that's a good way to just like sometimes escape, you know, is to create a different world and like for yourself, and hopefully that's gonna, you know, bring some light into your life. And the portrait is also supposed to represent people that are there for you during those darker times. Yeah, so that was a really cool mural, and like it was a huge team of artists that did that too. So yeah, shout out everybody, Natalia, Mario, Southwest Creative Studio. Yeah.
And what a way to have a launch party for it too, to bring the community in and to have the kids be a part and feel like they're influenced in that, because so many kids, you know, especially in Chicago, they don't always have that creative outlet for art. I was hoping maybe you could talk about, were there any moments in that launch party that, you know, you saw it firsthand impacting the community?
Yeah, I saw it almost immediately. Those kids, they loved it. They just ripped open their boxes and they immediately started. We had my friend Mario, that mural is like right across from his alley. So like he had his garage door open, and we had like tables there. So like the kids immediately got to work and they started painting and drawing, and we had a whole little like open studio session for them, like right there in his garage too. So it was cool almost to see it like instantly. Yeah. And they were very happy for like any art supplies that they got. Yeah. And they were like, you know, looking at the wall, trying to like, you know, copy it and see, you know, like it's so cute. Yeah.
That's important. That's important. I'm going to repeat that 5 more times. That's important. That's important. That's important. That's important. That's important. Community and art. I think that's such a great thing that, you know, we're not bridging that gap as much as we should these days. And that's really empowering to hear you guys doing that, you know, especially cleaning up the streets right beforehand too. Because so many people have this stigma around street art, and you know this a lot of up-nosed people don't know the difference between graffiti and street art. And to see a group of you guys come in there, cleaning up the streets, talking to the community, giving back to the community, what would you say to somebody who is maybe a little turned off by street art and compares it to graffiti, and if they don't know the importance of it, what's the message you'd want to send them?
I don't know. I'm kind of just confused by that too. I'm like, I see like a clear difference, you know. Murals like send messages, they send positivity, and like, you know, they're bright, they're colorful, they're not like, or, you know, sometimes they're political, but you know, people need to see these things. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I love graffiti. That's why I was like, I don't know, they're both awesome. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, graffiti is people, you know, writing their names, tagging, you know. I'm sure, I know a lot of graffiti artists that are like activists too. So they you know, they use it for, you know, their art they use that power for other stuff too. But yeah, I don't know. 'Cause I mean, I don't want to say that they're tags and like your pieces don't have messages, because I'm sure they do, you know, but they just could be different. And yeah, I don't know. People just they just don't understand. I don't
You guys
know.
ever seen like those graffiti pieces in like the middle of like a bridge or something? You have no idea how like they got there. That always confuses me.
That's cool.
Like,
I'm like,
how
that's
the-
impressive.
It is
Yeah,
impressive.
I'm like I have
How did they get there? Like, did they fly or something?
No, scaffolding.
Yeah, scaffold or rappelling.
Rappelling,
Yeah, they
rope.
like have a rope and
Yeah.
they kind of like swing down like a SWAT team on a building.
Right.
Which, I mean, that's so cool. I have like crazy respect for graffiti artists, because they can out there doing stuff that I would never be able to do. That shit terrifies me.
And it's in I hated asking that question, because like, you know, there's so many differences in that. There's graffiti art, there's tagging, there's mural, you know, but it's I think you wouldn't have one without the other. You know, I don't think there would be mural art if there wasn't the culture of tagging, and like what we were saying before, of having grunge and hip hop and music influences.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely
influence the
all
city.
connected, and
Yeah.
I feel like murals are like one of the oldest type of art, you know, like literally cavemen were painting on a wall. Like, what do you think that is? Like, that was a mural. Yeah.
Now, talk about, you know, a lot of the messages that you send in your paintings and in your murals. I thought one of the really cool things that you do is the duality of life and death. A lot of plants, a lot of skulls, a lot of mushrooms. Talk about the importance of that, and, you know, what kind of drew that to your art.
It's because I'm Mexican. Yeah. But yeah, no, this reminds me of Guillermo del Toro. They're like, why do you do his horror stuff? He's because I'm Mexican. But yeah, it's because of my Mexican culture for sure. The, you know, the Dia de los Muertos, and like not really having such a huge stigma around death, and like just realizing that they're just in a different plane, and you can still, you know, talk to them during that period of time and stuff. So they're still around. So it's not a super scary thing, you know, to see a skull or something, you know. They're always decorated very beautifully. So I just see it as like, you know, like you said, like the cycle of life, you know, something dies, it decomposes, it goes into the ground, something grows from that decomposition, and then that dies, and then it, you know, it just goes in a big circle. So
Mycelium is a wild thing.
yeah, no, totally. And like mushrooms are a big part of that too. They're feeding off of the decomposition, and they're growing too. And then, you know, you can eat the mushroom, and like it's going to nourish your body. And then, you know, it's all connected. So that's something that I wanted to show. Because I mean, that's life, you know. Every artist paints about life, paints about their life. And I mean, that's the whole, gist of it. And just like my Mexican culture for sure is like heavily influenced all that. Being able to just see all these like bright, beautiful flowers and like lights and lanterns, and then like in a cemetery, you know. So it's like it's cool to see that duality, you know, that people wouldn't really like associate with one another, like having a big party in a cemetery. I don't think a ton of people do that.
There should be.
Yeah,
Should be
yeah. I'm
more.
actually gonna go to a concert in the summer at a cemetery. I'm excited. Yeah.
Hey, send us an invite.
Yeah. No, I will.
It's where all the best ideas are, right there in the cemetery. That's the place to be. No, I really love your work. Yeah, the macabre is so cool, and it's a really like you say, it's a duality, but you really bring out the beauty in all of it too.
Thank you.
You kind of had that reassurance through death that, you know, things are gonna be all right. You're gonna be a beautiful mushroom one day.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, you can just take that to like not super literal, like after death, something else is going to come, but like after something bad happens, like something good is going to come. Like that's a cycle of life as well too. The positive and the negative. Like just because you're down right now, that's not going to last forever. You know, you just have to keep going until the light comes, the positivity comes, and you have to kind of just like live for those moments. So that's another thing that I want my art to like send that message to, that like, especially like the blacklight art, like having a glow in like such dark, you know, space. It's supposed to represent like the light, the silver linings in life, you know, like the little happy moments in your life that you can like just really latch on to, you know. And when you have that mindset too, you look around you and you see it everywhere. The more you see it, the more you appreciate it, the more it's gonna like come up naturally in your life.
I love that. Yeah, and it's so vibrant and beautiful. You know, I was hoping you could talk to us a little bit about how you switched from old school art to digital art. I read that in 2017 you got an iPad and started going digital from there. What's that like? Because I grew up very very sticks and stones with the art. I was doing drawing and painting, and then this whole new thing came along with the tech, and I think that took a lot of people out of it, maybe flourished other artists. I was hoping maybe you could talk a little bit about what was your experience going digital? How did that affect your art, and how did you use it to become a better artist?
I mean, I love my iPad. If there was a fire, my iPad is the first thing I'm grabbing for sure. I don't have any pets, so iPad. Yeah. I mean, at first I didn't really use it much. Like I definitely, there's a learning curve, so I was like, this sucks, I'm like, let me paint instead. And I didn't really start using it until I had more mural work, because you can like take a picture of your wall and then draw on the iPad on the picture, and so you're going to have a better idea of what your mural is going to look like. The client has a better idea of what your mural is going to look like, and you have like a fully fleshed out, like clean image to work off of as a reference for your piece. So yeah, just use it as a tool pretty much to, have designs ready for like paintings that I'm planning on doing, or like murals that I want to do. It's like super, super helpful to be able to like show your client almost exactly what it's going to look like. But yeah, it took me a while to like, and I'm still like not as good as I want to be with digital art. I still like prefer pen and paper and marker, like spray paint, all that stuff. But I definitely see how like it's necessary to use it like as a tool, for your other physical art too. But, I could get better. I want to work on my digital art some more for sure. Yeah.
Do you think like drawing on paper and stuff is gonna go away at any time?
No. It might be like less, but it's still gonna be out there because it's so extremely accessible. My iPad was like, I don't even know, like $800. So like, and that pencil is $100. So like, that's not, I had to really save up for that. But pen and paper is always going to be around. Rock and the sidewalk is always going to be around. You're always going to be able to do something like hands-on first, I think, Who knows what technology is going to, do, but I feel like it's still going to be around, yeah.
Yeah, and that's such a hard thing, too, with tech coming on. But, I think it's fair to say that young kids today aren't doing the whole art thing as much as as we did growing up. What would you say about that with the art in schools as we know it? Do you think that it's something that they should still be teaching, or try to maybe move over to digital art with these kids?
I mean, I feel like everybody should start off with like a foundation and like the basics, so like I wouldn't really trust a kid with an iPad right away either. So like they should definitely be starting off with like a pen and like crayons and like, paper and stuff. But I feel like it just depends on the kid, what they're interested in doing. Cause I'm like, well, this kid might want to be an animator. So yeah, maybe give him an iPad, but if this kid wants to do like, murals or whatever, he just wants to draw for fun. Okay, well then you should give him the, pen and paper. So every kid's different, and whatever art path they choose is, theirs to choose. But I have faith that kids are going to be interested in, analog stuff, pencils and paper and drawing and stuff. Yeah.
Now, what was your upbringing like in the art scene? When did you first start getting into art, and how did you learn?
I learned pretty young. I always had a very creative, my family's very creative. My dad did upholstery. My aunt is a seamstress. My sister's a photographer. My other sister's a pastry chef, They did drawing too. They took a lot of art classes. They're all older than me, so they took art classes. So monkey see, monkey do. I'm going to take art classes too. I want to be like my sisters, but I just continued with it. There's this, art program called Marwin Arts. Shout out them. I started there when I was in 6th grade. It's like an after school arts program or like weekend arts program. So I started there in the 6th grade, and I pretty much kept going there until like my senior year of high school. Like all those years going to art school after my regular school, like from like 6 to 7 or 6 to 8 or whatever, or sometimes like weekend classes. So like took like painting and drawing, like printmaking, paper making, photography, like videography, so many different art classes. It was like, and it was free too, by the way. And it still exists. So if you have a kid that's like 6th grade or in high school, and they're an artist, you should definitely look up Marwin Arts. They're downtown, so it's a good center location. So yeah, I got a lot of my art education there, but also like in high school, I took like literally every single art class that they offered, because like I knew I wanted to be an artist. I knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what it was, but I also knew that I did not have a lot of money. So, I knew college was going to be expensive. So like, and my teachers told me college is going to be expensive. Like, please take advantage of these free art classes like right now. So that's what I did. And so once I got to college, I was like, well, I already took a lot of art classes. So I think I'm just going to go, start my career and start doing art shows and stuff like that. So yeah, Marwin Arts, high school art classes, and then a bunch of just random neighborhood workshops, like community art spaces, community, like boys and girls clubs, park district. There's a lot of places where you can take art classes. I'm actually doing some art classes myself too, every Saturday. Yeah, right. I'm teaching like DIY upcycling art classes for like clothing and stuff at Casa Arte. So it's the space for Somos Arte. It's on Western and North Avenue. There's actually classes going on there every single day this summer, or like these 2 months for adults. So if you want to go check that out, you can go to Somos Arte. I don't know if it's .com, but you can go on their Instagram. Anywho, yeah, so lots of awesome art classes there for adults right now that I'm doing. And then next month I'm going to be doing some workshops at an elementary school too, so I'm excited for that. Just like after school art program, nothing too serious, but just something to, keep the kids entertained.
That's important work, though. That's really important work.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy I can like give back, because like that's the type of classes that I would be like taking advantage of when I was a kid. Because like, yeah, like I said, art school is expensive. So, if you have free art classes or cheap art classes, take them.
Especially growing up in a city like Chicago, it's so cool to live in a city that offers that,
Yeah.
I'm like you were saying, going to the Park District, Boys and Girls Clubs. It's such a great city to dive into that if you find the resources to do so. Yeah, thanks for dropping that. Do you have any other things that are coming up that you're working on?
Yeah, I've got some shows and stuff. I'm trying to think. So I talked about the art classes, the Somos Arte. This Sunday I'm going to be vending with the Avondale Neighborhood Arts Association. So it's like another artist collective that I'm a part of. It's fairly new. So like, Avondale neighborhood. We're going to be tabling and displaying our art at the Artist Colony, which is right next to the alley. And the alley's having their 49th anniversary block party this Sunday. So I'm going to be there vending with the Avondale Arts Association. They have a lot of cool stuff coming up too. I think next month they're having like a coffee bar art crawl. And what else?
N.SustaArt?
Oh yeah, N.SustaArt. Against the Fence. That's the next event. It's also this month. I think it's like another Sunday or Saturday. Let me see. Let me look at my calendar. Sorry. It's the 28th. So that's Against the Fence. N.SustaArt is another artist collective in Logan Square. They're amazing. Tracy is like the leader and organizer of that. It's pretty much like an open studio every Wednesday that she hosts in her apartment, which is like huge, completely covered in art supplies, and like people from the neighborhood, teens or adults can come every Wednesday from like 3 to like 10 to just hang out and make art. And like she's had that space there for, man, I don't even know how long. I want to say 10 years, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, she's just creating this space for people to come and make art for free. Like obviously we take donations like money or art supplies, but they're having their yearly event called Against the Fence. So Project Logan is a famous wall that a lot of graffiti artists and muralists would paint on right on Milwaukee and Fullerton. So we have a festival there now. We put up all our art on the fence. It's time to repaint the wall. So everybody's going to be like live painting, doing graffiti or murals. There's going to be art displayed on the wall, people vending their stuff. So that's the 28th. I'm very excited for that.
That's right across the street from Furious Spoon, right?
Yep. Yeah, right across the street. You can see it like from the parking lot. There's always kids like skating in that parking lot. But yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah, Tracy's great. N.SustaArt is super cool. they've definitely provided a lot of opportunities for me to like make money or like paint a wall and like just get more experience and stuff. Yeah, so if you need somewhere to go and be creative and like, you know, just hang out with cool people, cool artists, you know, any square is a really cool place to go.
And how about the Underground Art Gallery?
That's another super cool place. That one's a little more underground, obviously. Yeah, if you know, you know. But that's run by my friend Maggie, and it's pretty much like, again, like she's opening up her house. Like her house is like huge. It's completely covered in murals. She does a yearly fashion show that just passed, that I was modeling in, and Squeak was a designer. I was modeling her clothes, but she also does an art battle in her house. So she has like around like 30 artists all like scattered around her house, all live painting at the same time. And it's a contest. So people can walk around and like you scan the QR code that's like on the artist and you vote for your favorite one. And like the end of the night, you know, an artist wins like $1,000 or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's a really fun opportunity. It's a really great way to like meet a bunch of new artists, or like if you're a collector too, it's a good event to go to because, you know, you can meet a bunch of artists. You can see a bunch of new styles and, you know, possibly purchase something or commission somebody. Yeah, that's a really cool event. They have like DJs, food, events, like not just like the painters, like live painting. They have like all kinds of other stuff. Super cool event, yeah.
And how about PocketCon?
PocketCon, that's going to be at the end of the year, I'm pretty sure. But that's another event that I'm a part of and like just help put together. I'm on the board, I guess, the committee to like help put it together. But PocketCon is a yearly comic book convention that I help throw with my friends, but I'm like a very small part of it. My friend Elgin is like the head guy. He started it all. It's all for just artists of color, you know, Black and brown artists, queer artists. So we're just trying to uplift people, uplift comics and literacy. And this is a comic book convention for children too. So like that's what we're really aiming for. Sometimes we get like some of our people on our board work for schools, and we'll have like buses to come and like bring, you know, kids to the convention too. And sometimes that's their first convention that they go to, their first like you know, like instead of like, you know, Comic-Con or something like that, it's like, you know, PocketCon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's all a lot of local artists. But yeah, it's just another thing that I'm really, really proud to be a part of, to be able to like uplift the community, the art community, you know, the kids, showing them that like artists that look like you are doing art and making art, and like you open up a book and you see people that look like you know, like that's exactly why he started that. And it's like we're on like our 11th year or something now, so it's been happening for a really long time, and we've grown so much. We started doing it at the Chicago Art Department, and then we did it at the Cultural Center, we did it at Harold Washington Library, we did it at the Museum of Contemporary Art. This year we're going to do it at the Chicago History Museum. But just follow me, and I'm obviously going to post more details once we have a solid date of when PocketCon is going to be.
That's so cool. That's so important. That's really, really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's super important to me as like a Mexican American artist, to just use my art as a tool to like uplift people and to like, you know, give people hope and like a voice too. You know, like every now and then I'll like throw something political in there. I don't even like saying it's political or something. Like I did a piece recently for a show this Saturday, and it said, La naturaleza no tiene frontera. So pretty much like nature doesn't have borders, you know, just because it's like a very important thing right now. And I wanted to just show people that, you know, nature doesn't have borders. Like, this is stupid. You're stupid. No.
And I also see one more on here, the Avondale Arts Association.
Yeah, I just started that. I just joined that with my friend Nikki. She is like the organizer of that too, and it's just trying to get to know the artists of Avondale. That's where I grew up, like Belmont in California, and I see that it's like it's starting to grow, it's starting to change, you know. So like I kind of want to like take hold of that and get to know the other artists and get to know the other people in the neighborhood and like work with them too, because I mean that's my neighborhood, you know. So I'm a part of it, and I want to help out and just yeah, no, just be active in my community. I think it's really important to do what I can, you know. Every now and then I also do like body art and face painting, so whenever they have events, you know, sometimes I'll volunteer my time and I'll do face painting for them, or like, you know, I'll make a flyer or like a coloring page or something, you know, like whatever I can do to help out people, because everybody works as a team. Everybody works really hard to like make these events happen and create, you know, just things for the community and for stuff for people to do, you know.
Absolutely. Now, you've been going to art shows for a really, really long time. I was hoping maybe you can talk about how they've changed throughout the years.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm going to take a quick drink. One
Yeah.
second.
This one's sponsored by Modelo.
I love Modelo.
You know, I think it's like one of the top 5 most popular beers in America right now.
That's because of Bud Light. They did the whole like rainbow thing on their thing, and a lot of people stopped drinking them, and they went to Modelo.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So it's like, you know,
They're like, I'm homophobic, but I'm not racist.
but
like,
they are,
what?
though.
I know. We're like, oh, yeah, that's true. They
it
are.
just didn't make any sense.
But cervezas is so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are just so dumb, dude.
No, it's silly. But yeah, art shows. When I was younger, I mean, I feel like I started going to art shows when I was like 19, you know, like out of high school. And I mean, it kind of first just started off as like a reason to like drink underage, because you can go to like places like the Flatiron Arts Building or like the Bridgeport Art Center, or like I feel bad for like name dropping these places, but
What are they gonna do? Bust you now?
I guess no, that's true. Like you're under arrest, but I just don't want to like tell their. I don't know. Anywho, This is what I would do. Maybe people are like on top of it more, but artists and people, they would have open studios, so you can go in their studios, check them out, and like most of the times they have somebody there that's like has a bottle of wine that's like serving drinks, or like a cooler with beer, and you could just take some, you know. So like no one's gonna card you at an art show. So that's kind of what I mean. A lot of my younger days is like, yeah, let's go drink. We're going to an art show. We're gonna go like art crawl or whatever, like gallery hopping and stuff. And like instead of like bar hopping, we would just be gallery hopping. So like
That's cool.
it's much cheaper drinks, probably for free more oftentimes than not. You know, obviously leave them a tip, you know, but that's what I would be like. Yeah, art shows, let's go party, you know. But like now that I'm older, I'm definitely like professional, you know, like. No drinking, or like maybe I'll have a drink or something, but I'm not gonna like, woo, party time, you know. Like it's like, no, you're professional here, you're here to talk to people, you know, your art's on the wall, you have to, you know, represent yourself in a good way, you know, you don't want to embarrass yourself, you know, obviously.
You're giving a safe space for artists to come.
Yeah, totally. So that's my bigger difference for me personally anyways, is like just taking them more seriously now, and like, okay, this is your job, and like you need to be, you're not gonna go to your job fucked up, you know. So I kind of wish when I was younger I would have, you know, taken it a little more seriously. Maybe I would be further along in my career, who knows, but it's okay, I still had fun. Yeah.
Now, if you were to throw your own art show right now, what would people expect? What are some of the things that you would throw in your own art show?
So I am trying to throw one. I want to have like a solo show / like maybe like one side all me and the other side like other artists, but I want it to be a blacklight art show. Sorry, I'm like, yeah. So I want to, for sure, I want to have blacklights. I want it to be like, you know, obviously DJ, snacks, drinks, all the stuff, but hopefully I'm thinking like maybe I can like do body art too, and like that can incorporate it, because I do a lot of like blacklight body art too. But I would want it to be like during the day, like regular lights, regular lighting, normal music, you know, and you know, have a regular nice little quiet art show. But then like, you know, once the sun goes down, we can like turn the black lights on, and it's like a completely different show. So like you would definitely want to stick around for like the lights and then the black lights, you know, so you could see the difference. Cause yeah, I love for working with Bobby and Squeak, man. They really like affected me in a good way, obviously in the best way. But I started doing a lot more blacklight art because of them. Because Bobby has his monthly event, you know, Blacklight Blackout. So I started doing more blacklight art to like vend over there. But then like, you know, after analyzing it and like seeing it, I feel like, man, it's like so much more deeper than just wanting to like, you know, oh, sell this at a party, you know, cool blacklight stuff. But it's like, no, it's like it's deeper than that, you know. It's like just seeing something in a different perspective, in a different light, you know, it could completely change a piece. And I love the difference. Yeah. I love being able to see a piece change like that. Like, a lot of these like LED, like the color changing lights, it's so cool to like look at a piece and see the lights changing and like seeing the colors change on the piece. And like, so it's definitely something that I would like want to incorporate, is like different colored lights and like, you know, messing around with the paintings like that. That would be super cool.
Not to mention just having the audience there to ooh and ah at it when the lights come on or off.
Yeah, exactly.
That alone has got to be so cool.
Yeah, and like if people let me paint on them too, then they can be a part of it. And like, yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun.
Dang. Well, invite us to the next one.
Oh
That
yeah,
sounds
100%.
like a
You guys are invited for sure.
Very cool. Now, tell us a little bit more about some of your art installations at parties.
Again, yeah, and thanks to Bobby. Shout out Mr. Bobby. I mean, I'm so creative. I feel like I could do anything, you know? So like he'll hit me up and be like, hey, I'm throwing this, you know, Alice in Wonderland themed party. Can you make something for me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Let me see. Like I made like this giant furry cat that people could like pet, you know, it's on the wall. And I made like a big cake slice. I made these big mushrooms, and like they're all like blacklight reactive too. Some 3D stuff, some 2D stuff, you know, it depends on the budget. But it's usually like dollar store budget. So, you know, you got to make what you can with what you have. But normally it comes out really cool. And it's been a lot of fun to like kind of branch out and do like more 3D stuff and like see people interacting with it at parties. That's really cool. Yeah, I definitely want to go bigger if I can. Yeah.
Yeah, especially at parties. People a little inebriated, I think they might enjoy art a little more too. Probably buy some more merch too, right?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, or if they're not buying more booze.
Either way, we still love you, artists.
Yes, no, totally.
Art supporters. Now, who are some of the artists that have inspired you throughout the years?
Definitely my friends, for sure. Natalia Virafuentes, Squeak Star Zula, Mario Mena, Juana Duran. Yeah, these are all amazing artists from Chicago, all painters, live artists, and I'm happy to say my friends too. Yeah, they inspire me the most because I'm seeing like them directly, you know, like I see their growth. Yeah, it's just cool to see someone's like progress and be like kind of personal with them, you know. But other than that, I mean, like more, I guess, artists that other people would know. I mean, I'm really inspired by like Orozco and Diego Rivera and like those like classic muralists, those classic Mexican muralists. I went to Mexico last year and the year before that, and like, wow, their murals there just blew me away. They really did. There's just, not to say anything bad about Chicago stuff here, but like, wow, you could tell like Mexico City is like where modern muralism was born, and like you could like tell that these people are talented, like so precise and beautiful and bold and everywhere, like at all the walls, you know. It's so inspiring to see. I don't even know where I was going with this.
Well, they inspire you, so you know.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
Artisans.
I mean, Mexico City, Mexico in general, yeah, all those artists that are in Mexico City for sure inspire the heck out of me. I did a mural festival last year there in April. It's called Juntas Hacemos Más, and it's a all women and like female identifying mural festival. And I think there was like, I don't even know. There's so many. I want to say like 90. No, maybe not 90, but like 50. I don't know. A lot of artists, a lot of, you know, ladies. We're all painting alongside each other. It was like for 3 days straight. It was just so cool to meet like artists from all over the world, from like Finland, from Colombia, from like Ecuador and Mexico, United States, like everywhere. And like just to be a part of that too. And I'm like among them, we're all hanging out, we're like partying afterwards too. And like, man, it was so cool. And like just, yeah, being around other creatives, you know, it doesn't really matter how popular you are, or if you're like famous or whatever. Like, man, as long as you're just making art around me, you're gonna inspire me, you're gonna make me want to like pick up my pen and pencil too, for sure, like no matter what level you're at.
Is there like a certain like like a mood that you have to be in order to start painting or drawing something, or is it just like you just flip a switch and it's like, all right, I'm just gonna start painting or something?
It depends. I usually try to be in like in a good, happy mood, you know, like I'm excited to paint and stuff. But I mean, every now and then you kind of gotta force it, you know, if it's like a commission or like something else, like, and you just don't feel it, but like you're on a time crunch, you kind of just, or if you're like not inspired, you just have to push through it, and you have to literally like force yourself to like draw or paint something, and like it'll go away.
And on the days that you don't feel like drawing, how do you like motivate yourself to want to do it?
Money is a good motivator. Money is a great motivator. I usually, when I take commissions, I usually ask for half up front and then the other half later. A lot of people try to pay me like up front in full, and I'm like, I appreciate it, but you know, hold on to it, because I need that. Even if it's like $50, you know, like I just need that motivator to like, you know, like, okay, you want this $50, don't you? You better finish your project, you know? So like, I try to not get my full payment, so that way I can like, it pushes me to finish my piece. Yeah.
There's people out there that are like, oh well, you know, art shouldn't be, you know, it shouldn't cost anything, like you should just, you know, if you're gonna paint, it should be out for free and stuff. What do you have to say to those people who think that artists should do their art, whether it's like painting or whether it's music, performing or whatever, like they think, oh, it should be free, you know, like you shouldn't charge for it or whatever?
I mean, I wouldn't charge for it if I didn't have bills to pay and a home and rent to pay, you know, but this is my job. So like, that's what, you know, you're not going to go to a restaurant and be like, you're the chef, you're making art, this food is your art, you know, like it should be for free. You know, aren't you happy you're nourishing me? Like, no. But also, there's a lot of free art out there. If you want some free art, go out, and there's like public domain art. There's murals where you can go walk around and look at it for free. You don't have to go to a museum, you know. Like, that's another reason why I love murals, is because it's open to the public. It's accessible. And that's how I make it accessible, you know. Like, somebody else paid for it, but you can still see.
Yeah, and what people don't realize is that, like, everything costs money, too. Like, paints or, you know, whatever canvases or whatever pieces of paper you want to cost, it all costs money. And
exactly.
People don't see that portion of like the art that you're making or the hours that you spend, you know, practicing, you know, on, you know, whatever. People don't see that, and they just assume, oh, well, it took them like 5 minutes to do, but they don't see like the years of like and stuff that
exactly.
has to happen.
I'm like, they don't understand. I'm like, if you want free art, there's free art, you know, but don't ask that from everybody, you know, because it costs money to, you know, supplies, to get skills, to go to art school. Like, there's everything. The designers, people design chairs, clothing, all kinds of stuff, they all get paid. People that make movies, they all get paid. You pay to go see the movies, you know, like, you can make that argument with anything.
Right. And then for people that like want to start doing art and want to start getting their paintings sold or whatever, what would you recommend they do? How would they do it?
Just to put yourself out there. Yeah, you have to start somewhere. You have to start showing people. You can do it like via social media and start building, you know, an audience. Or you can go out and like vend at markets and stuff. There's plenty of like free places you can go vend at. That's usually where I'm at too. I don't usually pay for a spot or a table. I'm not there yet, you know, but there's plenty of like free spaces where you can just go and get out there, or like places like N.SustaArt or Sustaita, where you can go and like hang out and draw and make stuff, like get feedback from other artists and stuff. Like, just hanging around other people that make art is a good motivator too. And like, if you're around the right people, they're going to encourage you, you know.
Now, when it comes to the murals, how do you get commissioned for that? Is that something they approach you on, or do you approach different art companies and say, hey, I'll paint this for X amount? Or how does that work for a young artist?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of works both ways. I get about half of the people reaching out to me, be like, hey, I'm interested in, you know, X, Y, and Z. Or if there's like a certain company or like a restaurant that is opening up that's new, I'm going to email them, and I'm going to be like, hi, do you guys need art? You know, and like, sometimes they'll email me back, sometimes they won't, sometimes they get somebody else, you know, but you kind of just have to ask. You have to ask people. If you're starting off, no one's going to be asking you, so you kind of, or like, no one's going to be asking you, so you have to go ask. You have to go out there and find those jobs. Just ask. Yeah.
All they can say is no, right?
Exactly. That's the worst thing that can happen, and that's kind of how I started doing it. Is like, I walked into a business during all like the George Floyd protests and stuff, and all the businesses had their windows boarded up, and people were like getting like arrested and like cut off and like trapped downtown, and like there are so many ways that people trying to like stop the protests. So I wanted to like find a way to continue that. So I went to businesses and I was like, hey, you have a board. It looks like you're closed. It looks like you're all boarded up. So it doesn't look good. I could paint some flowers on there. I could paint like Black Lives Matter on there or like something, like just to let them know that you're open, let them know that, you support the cause. And yeah, that's kind of how I started. I was doing it for free, just to like spread the message and, continue the fight. And doing that, I created a portfolio. I took pictures of everything that I did. And, the next person that I approached, I was like, well, I'm going to charge you some money, but here's my, my portfolio. This is what I did, my experience. So, yeah.
It's definitely art reflecting life or life reflecting art, definitely. Oh, I was hoping maybe you could talk a little bit more about that. Around 2020, that was such a crazy, hectic time, but you guys were able to find beauty through it all. Tell us a little bit about your mural work around that time.
Yeah, I just wanted to, like I said, continue the fight and just show people that there's other ways of protesting too, because I know a lot of people didn't want to hit the streets because of COVID. So I just wanted to show people that there's many ways to resist. You can make art, you can make signs, you can, put it up in your window, you can, do whatever. Art is a huge tool for activism and just to like spread your message. And so I just wanted to continue that because it's really, really important. And it's still now just as important to, to make art and spread your message and fucking resist,
Viva la arts.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta fight back no matter in any way that you can. So art was my way to fight back. Yeah. And people actually did have issues with that. I was painting a piece that said power to the people. And like I was up on a ladder painting. And this man was like, he was walking his dog. And he's like, we don't want that up here. We don't want that. And I'm like, it was so scary. I was like on a ladder. I thought he was going to like push me off or something, But luckily, I got off the ladder and I was like, go away. Like, why are you here? Why are you mad? Like, just go away. Yeah.
Mind your own business.
Exactly. Like, no, people are always bugging me on the street. Yeah. That's one thing about murals. It's like, I want to say like 75% of the time, it's like nice people, neighbors. They want to know what you're doing. They're encouraging you. They're happy that you're beautifying the neighborhood. But like that for other percentage, they're like, what are you doing? I'm going to call the police. Or like, I don't want this graffiti. Like you said, they think it's graffiti, and like, it's so tough, dealing with people that don't understand or like police that don't understand, like they hassle you so much, even though you're painting at like a place where you have permission to paint. It's like, it sucks, but they know I don't like them.
No, we were talking earlier about, just different mediums and stuff. And I was hoping maybe you can talk a little bit about your online presence because you have so many videos that have gone viral from your work. And I was hoping maybe you can talk a little bit about what's that like as an artist nowadays, where now your art not only is getting viewed by the people on the streets of Chicago, but you're getting views from all parts of the world. What's the feedback that you're getting from those people?
It's pretty cool. I like it. It's very encouraging too. But I mean, you know how the internet is and how comments are. Like, you're gonna get some negative ones too. People are gonna be like, "You're dumb. That's a waste of paint." Like I've literally had people write, "That's a waste of paint" in my comments. But like, I'm like, it's whatever. It's okay. I'm not gonna like. Most of the time, people are like very encouraging, and it's cool to see like, it being viewed like 100 million times, or I don't know how many times. I don't know, but it's fun, and it all happens like randomly too. I'm not like posting videos with like the intention of like going viral or anything. It just like is like. It just happened randomly, like with whatever videos. But the whole reason I started my TikTok account was in 2019, like kind of like when the pandemic started too, around that time. So like, it was just a fun way to like document my life and document, just take more videos. I have a terrible memory. So like, I like looking back at my TikToks and my videos. I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's fun. But yeah, I just did it to document my life. And every now and then, one of them will go viral, but they've mostly been like, murals or some of my cakes have gone viral too. It's pretty cool. No, I like it. Yeah.
A time lapse is so satisfying to see, especially in the art world. You see the progression of it and people can definitely learn from it,
Yeah, no, it's cool to see people's process. I love seeing people's process. So like, I'm always happy to share that too on my videos and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's such a wild thing, especially getting it out into the world like that. You're also talking a little bit about your cakes too. Your cakes are so cool. delicious decor, if you will.
Thank you.
How did you fall into designing cakes? And, you know, what are some of your favorite ones that you've made?
My favorite one that I've made for sure, it was from my friend Faith because she really likes like ceramic clowns. So like, we wanted to make like a baby clown head. Like, I don't know. Yeah, but it was cool. It was like a little head.
Hey, we all got our thing.
And it was a baby and it was a clown. And I don't know. It was really cute and like funny. And like just to like open up my fridge and I'm like making it. And like I see like this like head in my fridge. I'm like, oh, close the door. Yeah.
How macabre.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked it. And I think she said that they didn't eat it and it's still like in her freezer, which is even cooler and funnier. Yeah. I'm like,
I swear, officer, it's cake.
Yeah, I'm like, send me a picture of that actually. Yeah. But what was it? That was my favorite one. What would you say? What was the other one? The first question?
You know, how did you get into it? You know, what are some of your favorite ones?
Yeah. I got into it when I was a teenager, just making cakes for my friends and my family. I liked baking. I liked, yeah. And like, I don't know, people always expect gifts too. I'm like, I don't know what to buy you. I'm like, I'm going to bake you a cake, you know, like, so it started with that. I think the first like fun shaped cake that I did was like a guitar for my friend Braulio. It was a Les Paul, so that was really cool. A little guitar cake that I made for him. It was like his 16th birthday or something, but so yeah, and I kind of just, you know, started off doing it for my friends, and every now and then people would be like, oh, you know, I want one, you know, so like, okay, well, give me some money. Yeah.
Now, what's your process with that? Is it's actual cake underneath? Do you use fondant or?
Oh yeah, I used to use fondant, but now I use modeling chocolate because it tastes way better. And it's easier to sculpt too, and also buttercream. Butter and chocolate are like surprisingly really easy and like fun to sculpt with, and like especially butter, like it holds up pretty well. You know, if it's a cold environment, you can shape it and like do all kinds of stuff with butter. Huh. But yeah, that's pretty much what frosting is made out of. It's just butter and sugar. That's why it's able to hold its shape and stuff like that. So you're just eating pure butter when you're eating a cake, by the way.
So delicious.
Yeah. Huh?
And your chocolate work is really cool. I saw were those cupcakes where you did the whole skyline of Chicago along it?
Yeah.
That was so cool. How'd you do that?
Thank you. I took like chocolate and I melted it. I put it into a piping bag and then I just drew out the skyline on a flat parchment paper. And then I popped it in the fridge, let the chocolate set, and then I peeled it off. And it was like, once it was hard, you know, it stands up. So I just put that on top of the cupcake. Yeah. But it does take a long time. Cakes, like it's usually about a 3-day process. I give myself 3 days. First day, shopping, groceries, making sure you have all your ingredients. I usually buy double of everything that I need just in case I like mess up, something burns, something happens, you need extra. Can't go to the store, so like I have to have double of everything, you know. It's might be wasteful. I'm going to use it eventually, but it's better off, you know, to be safe than sorry. So I buy my ingredients. So groceries is a whole ordeal. So it's just one day I use groceries. And then the second day is baking. Bake off all your layers. And then I saran wrap them. I put them in the freezer. And then the third day is decorating. And that usually takes like 8 hours as well. It takes the whole day. And then I usually turn it in on the third day or the fourth day in the morning. So it's another thing, like, I really have to block off all this time to make a cake. So I'm going to charge you $300 to $500 because that's, you know, 3 to 5 days of work. So yeah, it only makes sense.
It's well worth it though for the money. The images of them are so cool. I really like that one Bowser one that you made with the.
Thank you. The shell.
The shell was so cool, and the spikes were made out of.
Ice cream
cones.
Yeah,
That's
I just
incredible.
wrapped the fondant around the ice cream cone. Yeah, it's just fun. You know, it's another way, like just building a puzzle. Pretty much, like if you don't have precise, you know, you don't want to build a bunch of spikes and make them all the same size. You're like, oh, ice cream cones, you know, or Rice Krispie treats. You know, they're a little stiffer. They're better for, you know, smaller parts of your sculpture or something. Yeah.
Now, how do you design that? Do you sit down and you draw it out kind of three-dimensionally, or do you
Yeah, I draw it out on paper, like 2D. Usually people give me like a theme, like Naruto or like Five Nights at Freddy's, and like some stuff like Naruto I already know, so I'm like, okay, I have some ideas. But like Five Nights at Freddy's, I never played that game. So I did some research, you know, I looked up some YouTube videos about the lore and all that stuff. So like,
you worked at Chuck E. Cheese.
I researched. Yeah, no, totally. I kind of get it. Yeah.
I did my homework on you.
Yeah. Like, damn, you went far back, huh? Yeah. What was I saying?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh yeah, so I do my research about cakes and stuff, you know, like just so I get an idea. I don't want to get the characters wrong or whatever. So like sometimes it does, you know, I'm doing research on a freaking cake. Like that's how much time I like put into it. Yeah, because I want it to look good and I want it to be accurate, you know.
Right. I think I'm gonna ask Jay's next question. Do you do edible, like marijuana infused stuff?
Yes, yeah. I used to work for this woman, and yeah, she gave me so many amazing recipes. She taught me how to like decarb everything and make oils and make butter and like make ice cream and like cakes and infused liquor, man, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so yes. To answer your question, yeah, let me know. But yeah, it's fun. That part I do enjoy. Yeah, because she was an older woman too. So a lot of our clientele was older people that just wanted it like medicinally. We like purposely made like low dose stuff too. So like it could just, you know, help people out, help people sleep, help people relax. Yeah.
And eat with her eyes, like you said.
Yeah, no, totally. She was all about, you know, presentation too. Yeah.
That's so cool. Sorry to drop the Chuck E. Cheese thing in there. I thought that was kind of funny. Oh, no, it's
okay. Yeah, that was my first job. That was my first job. Yeah,
what was that like?
When I was 16. It was pretty cool. I liked it a lot.
What's the secret behind the pizza? The pizza's so good.
I don't know. I made some of the pizzas there sometimes too. I mean, the dough is just like, it was just like a big bag of flour and we'll mix water into it and like that's the dough. Like it's all pre you know, mixed in there. I don't know what their Chuck E. Cheese magic.
It was the tears of the children that go there.
I know, right? When they don't have enough tickets or when they have to go home. Yeah, but it was fun.
You never had to hop in the mouse costume.
All the time. I preferred that. Yeah. Because I worked like behind the counter, you know, like exchanging the tickets for the toys, and like it was boring. I didn't really like doing that. People are angry, you know, or upset at you. So any chance I got to like take a break, they're like, oh, you know, like it's a birthday party time or whatever. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, let me go hop in this suit. Yeah, it was fun because when I was in high school, I also went to this place called Connect Force. It was like another like after school place. They pretty much showed kids like the 5 elements of hip hop, you know, like tabling, breaking, graph, all that stuff. And so I would do some, you know, learn some graph. I would learn some breaking. But man, I was really shy. I couldn't really like put any of that stuff into action, you know. And so like when I put that suit on, I was dancing. I was like busting out all my moves, and people were like, "Wow, I didn't know you know how to dance like that." I was like, "Man, I didn't know either." You know, like I was learning it, but I was never like putting it out there because once I had the mask on, I was hiding myself. You know, I was like, "This is cool. This is a little less embarrassing." You know, like I can kind of like be a little more silly in here. It was fun. Yeah.
The disassociation of yourself. You know what I mean? Once Chuck becomes Chuck, that's Chucky time.
Yeah, exactly. You're not Natalia anymore. You're Charles Entertainment Cheese. Yeah.
Oh man, is that what the E stands for?
Yes, entertainment. Yep, his middle name is
wild.
Entertainment. Yeah.
How about that?
I was 28 years old when I learned that.
God, what a legend. Are Chuck E. Cheeses even around anymore?
I think so. The one I worked at was on Fullerton in like the Riverview Plaza. I'm pretty sure that's still there. Yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that one is still there.
Dude, I used to go there as a child.
That one?
Me
like,
too.
As a fucking like little kid, that shit was wild.
Chuck E. Cheese, the childhood casinos.
Yeah.
That's how they lure you.
Childhood rat casino. Yeah.
Every 5 minutes, give me more tickets, Mom. Come on.
Oh man, I watched a weird movie the other night. It was like Willy's Wonderland, and it was essentially Five Nights at Freddy's, but like the lead character was Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that the one with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
I've been wanting to watch that. Yeah.
It was good. I liked it, but I was just like, this is pretty much Five Nights at Freddy's just with Nick Cage, which also made it better because it's Nick Cage.
Yeah.
But
he definitely makes stuff better.
what a legend, him and Chuck E. Cheese. Anyways,
going back to like your weed infused food, do you have like a favorite weed infused like fat to work with? Like my personal favorite is like cream, because then I can make like ice cream and stuff like that.
That's true. I do.
Do you prefer like butter or oil, or what do you prefer?
I mean, I do like infusing creams for sure. Like making a nice like medicated whipped cream is like delicious, so good, and like light and like fluffy. Yeah, but I would say coconut oil. Yeah, I would say coconut oil. I feel like it it can handle like a higher temperature, I guess, or like I don't know. Butter's tricky because you need to use clarified butter, and it's more expensive to buy. And so I'm like, I'm gonna get coconut oil. Yeah. So I guess that's why the pricing. Yeah. So maybe better is better. I don't know, but I like using coconut oil. Yeah. I feel like it has a longer shelf life, like in my opinion, and from what I've seen. Yeah, I like coconut oil.
Okay. What's your favorite dish to make, or like do you just make cakes with like infused stuff?
Mostly like cakes and stuff. Yeah, but one time we did, I think we had like a 420 party, me and my friend Jocelyn, who I was working for making edibles, and she invited all her clients to come over and like just have like a sesh, and it was a lot of fun. We made a lot of hors d'oeuvres and stuff. So we made watermelon cubes with like infused balsamic, and like we dropped it on the cube, and then we kind of like hollowed out the cube too, and we had a walnut oil that was infused, and we tossed that in some feta, and like we put the feta inside the watermelon cube, and like so it was like feta and watermelon, and like the watermelon had like a balsamic infused glaze,
awesome.
and then the feta had like the walnut oil, and like so had a lot of like really strong flavors. So it went really well with the marijuana, because like marijuana's got like a really strong taste to it too, so you kind of have to figure out what flavors are going to pair well with that. Yeah. So that, yeah, the watermelon feta, we made like an infused guac, infused hummus with like pita chips, and like yeah, it was like, I'm trying to think of like savory ones because everybody does pastry. Yeah, but that was good.
Have you ever had too much edibles at any point? Do you remember it all?
Yeah. It was after I hadn't like, I guess I took a break or something. I didn't partake for a really long time, and then I went to Colorado, and we're like, well, when in Rome, it's like, all right, I'll take an edible, and like I didn't even know what the milligram like dosage was, but the like I was like looking at the wall, and it was just melting, it was just melting and changing colors and all drippy and stuff. Yeah. And like, but I realized what was happening because like there was a TV shining on the wall. I was looking at the wall, and like the wall was changing colors because the frames in the TV are changing colors. So the wall was actually changing colors. I wasn't going crazy, but like everything else was just enhanced by it too. So like I think all those flickering lights, the colors changing so rapidly just like caused me to hallucinate a little bit.
Do psychedelics ever take place when you're making art?
Not really when I'm making art, because I can't really focus. I like just letting my brain kind of wander when I'm under the influence. Sometimes I'll have ideas and I'll like scribble. I like scribbling. That's fun. Or I'll write stuff down every now and then. But I don't really like making like full on pieces, because I'm just so like whatever, so like I like scribbling and like just having fun, and like, or like playing with the paint, like touching it, like that. I'm like just messing around in that way, but not just playing. I'm not gonna do a commission under the influence. And one thing that I did like to do too is like I like to analyze my art and look at my art while I'm under the influence of stuff too, because like it just changes, and like sometimes the meanings of it kind of come out at you afterwards, like after you've done it and you don't even think about it, and it's like, oh, I painted this pretty picture just because, but it's like, no, you did it because you're growing from this pain or whatever, I don't know, this is you come up with reasons on like why you created the art, and like yeah, it's just cool to see. I feel like that's not like who my art is like marketed towards or whatever, but I just feel like a lot of people that partake like my art. So yeah.
That's a cool way to look at it. It's a retrospective of sorts, right? To kind of really deep hit it. I was hoping maybe you can talk a little bit more about your process when you're getting commissioned. You're about to, it's game time. You're about to go paint. What's your process like when you first get out of bed? Do you have a certain ritual that you do when you're about to go make some art? Do you listen to music? Do you eat a certain meal? What do you pack? What are your essentials?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have to eat something before I get started with any piece or any painting, because I get like kind of like stuck in the zone, and I won't eat for 12 hours. So I really have to eat. That's like my first thing. It's like, okay, you have to make something in your stomach, and then you can get started. Then you can really focus. Because like another thing I hate doing is like, oh, I'm hungry. I have to stop what I'm doing and like go cook or do something else. And like it's just a huge like stopping your flow, you know. So I want to make sure I'm full. You know, you went to the bathroom, you showered, my house is clean. There's not going to be any distractions because like I don't know, my it's if there's other things going on in my brain or other things that are bugging me in my apartment that need to be like addressed, you know, before I can really focus on something. So I try to just like tidy up my house, make sure I'm full and like don't have any distractions. I'll put music on or I'll put on like The Simpsons or something that's like kind of background stuff, something I've watched over and over again that I'm not gonna like want to turn around and like stare at, you know, an interesting show. Yeah, so just making sure I'm, you know, healthy and set up for my stuff. Yeah. I'll have usually have all my paints out anyways, and I have like my station or have everything ready to go. So like if any moment I want to start painting, I could just go and start, you know, because that's another reason why people's inspiration kind of like gets stuck, because like they don't want to pull out their paints or they don't want to clear off their table and do all this. Like that's a whole process getting ready. So like I want to cut that out completely and just be ready. Yeah. But you don't got to get ready if you stay ready.
Do you think it's important to have like a separate space to like make your art? I know a lot of artists, they don't like to like do their art where like they live, because for whatever reason they prefer to do it at like a separate space so they can, like what you said, just focus on what they're doing.
Yeah, that's definitely a good reason on why people have like art studios and stuff, because of, like what I said, if there's like a dirty dishes or something else in your apartment that's like bugging you, you know, you're gonna want to address it. Or, you know, it's very easy to just to like sit on the couch and turn on the TV. There's so many distractions in your house. So I can definitely see that, but I have a 2-bedroom, and so like my second bedroom is like my art studio. So if I really do want to focus, I'll like close the door and I'll put myself in the room and kind of just be in the room and not worry about anything else in my space. But yeah, so having that separate space really helps. But I mean, every now and then I'll be on my couch and I'll have my easel set up here and I'm like, you know, just lazy and still, you know, painting or something. But I try not to do that, but, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, you know.
Now, you've done so many different types of mediums: spray paint, acrylic, fashion, cakes, a little bit of everything. What is a medium that you've never done before that you'd like to try?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I'm interested in. I guess just more stuff that would help me with stuff that I already have going on. Like I've been wanting to try that like VR mural thing, you know, where like you put the goggles on and you have your image and you're seeing it in your goggles and you can like paint the wall and like, and then it's on the wall. So like that's something I wanted to try, and that would be cool, like VR stuff. I really like crocheting and knitting and stuff. I don't know if I would want to do it myself, but I think it's freaking cool as hell, you know, that you can just create something with like a stick and and string, you know. That's really cool. I wish I had the patience and maybe like the dexterity for that too, but no, not so much. So I'll hire someone else to do that. And also music, you know, I love music. I was in choir, I was in band, you know, in high school and stuff, but I don't know, it just didn't stick. I don't want to say I wasn't good at it, but I just didn't stick to it like other musicians did. I can't like create a original piece of music or anything like that. So, I mean, I wish I could do that, but again, that's just something that you just have to put time into that I'm just like not willing to put time into, you know. I have other stuff.
Sure. Now, if money was not an option and you were able to make any kind of art that you can imagine, what is your dream piece like? What would you like to make?
I would like to make like a parade float or something. That would be cool. Or like one of the ones that people like carry, you know, with like sticks, like a giant puppet, pretty much. I would like to make a giant puppet that people would like carry around at a parade or something like that. When I was in Mexico 2 years ago, it was for Dia de los Muertos, so I was there in Mexico City for that parade. It was amazing, and they pretty much made like giant sculptures just like what I want to make too, where people have like different like alebrijes, you know, like colorful animals, like paper mache stuff, and yeah, having like freaking 10 people on a piece, you know, making it move around, interact with the people, you know, like that would be really cool. I would love to do that. Yeah.
I know a couple people. Let's chat after this show.
Cool. Yeah.
We
No.
can make that
Awesome.
happen.
Hell yeah.
Now, overall, what is the overall message that you really want people to get from your art, from whatever medium it is? What's the feeling? What's the message you really want people to walk away with?
Just to not give up, I guess. Like I like to think that my art gives people hope. Like I said before, just to show people that, yeah, there's a skull and something that might be scary, but there's flowers growing from it. There's pretty things growing from it. There's green life growing from it. So, like, even if you've had loss or, you just are struggling with something, with depression or whatever it is, like, that stuff's going to pass and good things will come. And you just have to wait, and everything's temporary. Everything changes, so like even good things, even if you're doing good right now and you're doing great, you can cherish those moments because it's not going to last forever. Like it's the same way, negative and positive, it's not going to always stay the same. So yeah, that's the message that I want my art to send, and that's the message I hopefully it does send, is like life continues and it's a circle, so it's not always going to be the same, and you just have to embrace the change.
I like that. Now, you were saying before, through art, you have a lot of ups and downs. Maybe I was hoping you can share a little bit about your ups and downs. Maybe what was one of the lower points in your art career compared to what was maybe your highest accomplishment and something you were very proud of?
Yeah, man, I know exactly what like my lowest point was for sure. I was vending, or I'm trying to vend at this event. It was like a street festival, and one of my friends that was bringing the table was like, I can't make it. And then like my other friend that was supposed to bring like the tent or like something else that was very important, like she's like, there, I can't make it. I'm like, fuck. And I'm already there. And I have like a tablecloth, so I just like, lay my stuff out on the street, like a hippie or something. And this is fine. I have nothing against them, but everybody else had tables and booths and like looked super professional. And like I was there with like my stuff. It looked like I just snuck in, and I'm like sitting on the grass, next to my stuff, and I'm kind of bummed. And like, nobody else shows up that I know except for one person who was my stalker, and he sat next to me, and there was nobody else there to like help me or like talk to me or pull me away. And like I had my art, so I can't just walk away, and then he also stepped in dog shit, so he smelled so bad. And like it was so nasty. He didn't even notice that until I was like, what's on your shoe? Like it was like, oh man, it was bad. And like it's weird in those situations too, like as a girl, how they're gonna react if you tell them like, can you go away, or like you're making me uncomfortable or something like that, and like you don't really know how people are gonna react. So I kind of just had to like put up with it and like be nice, because I was by myself. It would be a different story if I was with somebody else, but sure. So that was so shitty. Yeah, I was like,
how do you politely
literally
say buy my art and leave?
I know. I mean, I think I just packed up anyways, and I was like, oh, like it's not really working out, so I'm gonna leave. And I probably did leave early too, like. So that was a freaking huge bummer, and like, yeah, I hated that. It was horrible. That's why I hate vending outside too. It's like so many, the wind and like it could rain or it's sunny. And it's like, it could all bother you. Yeah. So that sucked. It was horrible. That was my worst vending like art experience for sure. My best one, there's been a lot. It's hard to pick. So I'm glad that like the worst one, I was like, I know exactly. But the best ones, it's like, oh, there's so many. I don't know. But definitely, I want to say Mexico, when I was in the Juntas Hacemos Más mural festival, being around like other artists from all over the world, all painting together in freaking sunny, beautiful Mexico, and like freaking just drinking beer and talking and hanging out, and like everyone's like speaking Spanish, and it's so cool. I loved it. Yeah, it was beautiful. I can't wait to go back. Yeah. Great ladies.
Now, are there any shows out there that you want to be a part of? Do you have anything on your bucket list that you still have yet to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to do more mural festivals in the States. The first one I did was in Mexico, and they accepted me happily, like right away. But like, yeah, other ones that I've applied to, it's like, oh, try again next year, or try again, whenever, or like, I guess I still need to get more experience and stuff, but Yeah, it's been difficult getting another mural. I guess maybe there's more competition, and I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with it in America. But just getting into other mural festivals here, even in the city. Like, yeah, I don't know. So more mural festivals would be fun, and like more like brand stuff. I want to definitely branch out and get better with my digital art and make some like labels, hopefully for like some beer companies or for like a hot sauce or like coffee or something, a shampoo, whatever. You know, like I want to design some stuff, yeah, for people, for like the streets and like, or like, you know, stores. I want to be able to see like a product of mine that I designed like in a store. That would be cool. I think these are all reasonable and attainable goals, so yeah.
Yeah, totally. Now, you mentioned The Simpsons a couple times. I was hoping maybe you could talk about The Simpsons, how they influenced you. I love your print of a Bart with the skull and crossbones.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah,
so cool.
I was gonna wear that T-shirt today and I couldn't find it. I ripped up my whole freaking room looking for that shirt. I was so mad. But yeah, I love The Simpsons. I grew up with it. It was definitely like a way to like bond with my brothers and sisters. They're all older than me. They all have different interests. But like whenever The Simpsons were on TV, we're all around the TV. We're all together. We're all watching TV. Yeah. And so we all kind of have a similar like sense of humor because of it too. And like, I don't know. I just found that like people that like The Simpsons, like they're usually cool people and they're usually, you know, I can get along with them. We got similar senses of humor. They get my references, you know. But yeah, it's just always something that makes me happy. It makes me smile, and something that's like I'm gonna love forever. Like my first tattoo when I was 18 was Homer's stonecutter birthmark, because I was like, what am I gonna love for the rest of my life? Because everyone's like, you're gonna regret your tattoos when you're young. Don't get them when you're young. You're gonna change your mind about what you like. So I was like, okay, well, what am I not gonna change my mind about? What am I for sure gonna love forever? And I was like, The Simpsons. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you have a lot of tattoos, if you don't mind me asking?
Not too many. I have like 8. Yeah, they're all kind of like scattered. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite one?
Yeah, I have one on my leg of like a cat skull. My friend Julian did that. Julian Hernandez is an amazing tattoo artist. Does a lot of like really cool realism and black and gray pieces, skulls, a lot of cool skulls. Yeah. So like, yeah, any artist that does stuff that I do, I'm like, you're cool. I like you. Yeah.
Do you have any of your own work tattooed on you?
No, not yet. I want to get my pizza skull tattooed on me for sure, but I'm gonna wait till I got some money. Yeah.
Now, your pizza work, you're very passionate about your
I
Chicago
love
style
pizza.
pizza.
I love pizza. It's one of my favorite foods. I like painting food too, and like food art. At first, it was just like a fun thing to just doodle and draw. Whenever I was like didn't know what else to draw, I would draw pizza, a little pizza slice with a skull in it or something. But I don't know. I just joked around with people like, oh, every time I draw pizza, I always end up eating pizza that later that day. It's like a way to like manifest it or something. So I was like, it's magic. So that's why I would do a lot of pizza stuff, and it was just fun. I like being able to do like the drips of the cheese. You can make it like very like gooey and like textured and have like depth and like, yeah, I don't know. It was just fun way to. It's just something fun to paint, I guess. Yeah.
And it brings everyone smiles. Everyone loves pizza.
Exactly. And like
here.
in Chicago, yeah, of course. I have like a really big pizza mural shaped like a heart with like the city skyline in the middle. It's at hanging up in Wolfhound Bar and Kitchen on Elston and California in Belmont. Yeah, Wolfhound. Cool. Go eat there and look at my pizza art.
Where's your favorite pizza spot in Chicago?
Bob's Pizza.
Where's
Have you had Bob's?
I don't think so.
The one I went to was on 21st and Paulina or something, but it's like there's one in Pilsen. It's like kind of like 21st and Cermak or something, but it's like in the neighborhood, like on the small streets on the corner. But the pizza's so good, and like I'm sorry to say, it's not tavern style or another thing. It's New York style pizza, but but it's really really good. I don't know what it is about them, but like. Yeah, it's delicious. They had one with like those like big pieces of like mozzarella and like prosciutto on there, and like man, it was tasty. Really good pizza. I lived a couple blocks away from there, so maybe that's why I would like always stay eating there. But even now, I'm still like, I miss Bob's. I want to go back. I miss you, Bob.
Now, what's your go-to pizza? What do you usually get on it?
I like getting like sausage, mushroom, onion. Usually like, I don't know, typical Chicago stuff.
Supreme.
Yeah, Supreme. Yeah. But yeah, sausage, mushroom, green pepper. That's usually. But I would also like getting pineapple pizza. I started getting pineapple pizza because I don't want to share with anybody because nobody liked it, you know? And I'm like, oh, I could tolerate it. So, because people at my lunch, you know, in the break room or something at work, they're like, oh, can I get a piece or something? Like, I don't know. Or like your siblings, they want to take your pizza too. You always have to share. So like, I don't want to share this pizza, pineapple, you know? Yeah. I was on the train one time too, and I had a pizza. And like, you know, homeless dude was like, oh, can I have a slice? And I told him, I'm like, it's pineapple. And he's like, okay, never mind. Yeah. I'm like, I would have given you a piece, but I want to warn you, it's pineapple. Because I did that one time and I saw him and he had the slice in his pan and he like went like that and just wiped off all the stuff like on the train.
Oh, no.
And then the conductor was like, why'd you give him that slice of pizza? And I'm like, I'm sorry.
He's trying to do a good thing.
I know. Yeah, no, the CTA is so funny.
Oh God, yeah, especially there should be a book about CTA.
Yeah,
so.
no, I do. I want to write like a little like comic book about it sometime, like CTA stories or something. Because yeah, I've got a bunch.
Oh man, you know the pineapple on pizza. It's so sacrilegious, especially in Chicago. But I'm all for it. You know,
It's delicious.
I think Chicago's just an open pizza city.
Yeah.
But you know what's really good on pineapple pizza is like some jalapeno or those like a banana sport peppers. It's like a sweet and spicy
It's
combo.
delicious. Yeah, I like getting a pineapple, jalapeno, and bacon too. It's really good.
Oh yeah,
Delicious.
now we're talking. What's your best CTA story?
I was on the Kimball bus. I was visiting my friend. I was going north on the Kimball bus and headed towards Albany Park, which, if you guys don't know, is the most like culturally and religiously diverse neighborhood in Chicago. And I'm on the bus. This man gets on. He looks like a pastor or something because he's got like that collar, you know. He's holding up his Bible and he's like, you're a sinner, you're a sinner, you're a sinner, you're going to hell, you're all going to hell because you're all sinners and unless you accept Christ. And I'm like, normally I'm going to keep my mouth shut and just like ignore it like anybody else, you know, on the train or on the bus. You just ignore it, you know. But I don't know, just something in me. I was already standing up and he was looking right at me too. And like, I told him, I was like, you need to cut that out. I'm like, you're on a public bus. You need to respect the people on the bus. We're going to Albany Park. And like, I'm looking around. There's Muslims on the bus. There's Jewish people on the bus. There's like probably Catholics too, but like they're not so, you know, obvious sometimes. But still, like you can tell that there's different religions on the bus. And he's literally pointing at them, telling them that they're going to hell, you know. And I'm like, you need to respect the people on the bus. This is a public place, you know. And I'm like, and then he's like all offended and he's like points at me. He's like, this young lady has hate in her heart. I'm like, you're the one who's had hate in your heart. You're the one who's like screaming at everybody, telling that they're going to hell. And I'm like, I'm just trying to tell you to cut it out and to respect other people's religions, you know. And then everyone's like, you know, chiming in like, yeah, you need to stop talking about blah blah blah, blah. And then someone else is like, well, we need to respect God and blah blah blah. And like there's this whole religious conversation happening and everyone's talking and like this one dude in the back, he just like gets up and he's like, God, he's like, he didn't do anything for me in my life. He's like, my wife left me, my kids don't talk to me, what has God done for me? And like we're all just like, okay. And we just stopped talking after that. We just like, well, there you have it, you know, like let's all just calm down, you know. Like he looked like he wanted to cry too, so I was like, you know, we should calm down. And luckily, you know, the pastor, he calmed down too. He sat down, so we all relaxed and it was okay. But like that was quite the ride.
Only in Chicago, religious soap operas on CTA.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. I mean, yeah, that was crazy. I should have. I'm happy I spoke up though. I'm happy I spoke up. Normally I wouldn't.
Good for you though. You know, I think it takes a strong person to speak up in those situations where everyone's feeling uncomfortable. And it's like, especially when he's pointing out other people.
Yeah, he's like pointing at them right in the face and like telling them that they're going to go to hell.
I think you're missing the point, pal.
Yeah, no. There was this other lady. Oh my gosh. I was on the Damon bus. It's always on the bus. But yeah, this lady gets on, this like blonde lady. She's like really skinny and she's like looking at me and like she keeps looking at me and like, you know, and I'm like trying not to look at her either. I can tell like I'm not, you know, don't make eye contact. But she's like all like huffing and puffing and all angry. And then like before she gets off the bus, she like comes up right up to me and like does like a little finger gun to my face. And she was like, if I had a gun, I'd shoot you in the head right now, you hipster bitch. I was like,
Jeez.
She called me a hipster, bitch. Like, what the hell? That was crazy. Oh man, yeah. I was like, a hipster? Excuse me? What? Like, no, that was ridiculous. Yeah, that was crazy. And then she got off the bus. Yeah, she was trying to get me to like follow her, like fight her and stuff. But no, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, but that shit was crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Only in Chicago,
Only
folks.
in Chicago. Love it. Love it. I need a car.
Yeah, man. I still like the CT. I'll take the train, but yeah, sometimes the bus can get a little sketch.
Yeah, it depends. You know, you just have to be strategic about it. You know, if you're taking the train by yourself, you should probably get on the first cart that's closest to the conductor. You know, if anything happens, or you know where your emergency buttons are and stuff. But I usually just go for the first cart, so you're kind of safe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good call. How about you, Jay Smooth? You got any crazy CTA stories?
I wouldn't say too crazy. This homeless man tried to rob me one time when I fell asleep on the train on the red line. That was pretty wild, but I don't think it was too crazy. We kind of just battled for our phone for a little bit, and then for my phone, and then he stopped. He gave up after like I don't know a couple seconds, but.
Probably knowing that you could just, shut it down after he steals it, right?
Yeah.
What's the point of stealing it?
Yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, I've heard a lot of crazy shit. I was late for work one time because some dude had jumped in front of the train, so that was pretty wild to hear.
Man. Well, I guess that wasn't in the train, but it was on it.
It was a CTA.
Yeah, still a CTA incident.
CTA incident. I got a good one, man. It's I really want to make like a book on it or like an animated series. One of my favorite ones though, it happened like 2021, and I was hopping on it was the brown or purple line heading back northbound away from the loop. And it was like working hours, it's like 4:30, people getting off work, I get on the train and I have my headphones in. I'm very oblivious into things. Like I always check my 6, but like if I'm in my headphones, I'm on the train platform, I'm kind of vibing out, and I go and I sit down. And as I walk in, I just see like boots up in the air, and I'm like, "That's weird." And I just like went and I sat, and then it like dawned on me. I look back, I'm like, I just saw boots upside down in the air, and I look back over, and that like little area like next to the conductor's booth, where there's that little bench. There were 2 people just banging on it.
Oh my god!
Just
Ew.
going at it hard. But like waka waka, but like the girl's feet were like up in the air, and she was kicking that like glass in between, and then it dawned on me, and I look around and nobody's looking at it. I'm like, am I hallucinating? Am I the only one seeing this right now? And I look at this like nurse who's like reading her like smut novel, and I'm like, are you seeing this right now too? And she's like, I know, it's disgusting, and like scrolling. And like, and it was so funny, and they were going at it for a while, right?
Jeez.
So I was like, no one's gonna believe me. So I like busted out my phone. I'm like, oh my god, this is so funny. I didn't share it or anything. I'm like, I got it, not that I showed anyone's face or anything like that, but like just the fact of it. But one of my favorite things is when I was filming it, the train had like taken a turn. And when the guy was like going in and like thrusting, you see a Pringles can roll out like a tumbleweed underneath his boot. And I lost it. And then some dude comes and sits down like right next to the thing. And he's oblivious too. He didn't realize what was going on until like it's kept kicking again. And he's just like, oh
my god! Like, yeah, let me get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah.
CTA, a place for love. Only
those
in
little
Chicago.
nooks too. People are up to no good in those little nooks.
Yeah, right. And it's one of the best spots in the train too. If you get on the last car and you're like looking at the back
That's true.
end of
That's a
it,
good view.
It's really cool.
It's a nice view.
Just don't look down at the floor and on the seat around you, and it's a much better view.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a really good job at like ignoring stuff from taking the CTA so long because there's just so much crazy shit that happens on there.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of learn to like, all right, that's not happening. I'm just gonna be on my phone for like a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
To
That's your male privilege. Sorry to say. I have to stay with my eyes open constantly. If something crazy is going on, I'm like, I have to keep my eyes on it. I can't ignore that for sure, because you never know if something else is gonna happen or escalate. You know.
Yeah.
Right. You always got to be aware. Always be aware of your surroundings. Yeah. Do you ever do self-defense shit? Like if someone gets up in you?
No, I have never been in a physical altercation in my entire life. I'm a very non-violent person. I've managed to escape situations using my words. You know, I've just pretty much told people, I'm like, hey, you don't want to do this. Like, think about what you're doing right now. I don't think you want to. I don't think this is what you want. You know, and like usually that calms them down, no matter what it's happening. You know, it's like, it's okay. You can calm down. You know, like.
De-escalate a situation.
Exactly. I'm very good at de-escalation for sure. Like I worked customer service plenty of times where I'm like, I know how to calm somebody down. Yeah.
You've dealt with enough Karens.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I know how to appease them and make them calm down, whether it's a Karen or a crazy person. Yeah.
Always de-escalate, especially on the train too.
Yeah,
and that's got to be hard too. You know, what's your take on that as a woman on the train like that? You know, or even on the bus like the other day. You know, just to speak up on that. Like I said, that took a lot of guts from you to speak up on that.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't want to say shame on those other people for not speaking up, but like, what is it going to take for someone to speak up and say something?
Yeah, that's true. It depends on the situation, really. Like. This man's a pastor. He's telling everybody that we're going to hell. You know, like
not a very good pastor.
I don't think. Yeah, I know, right? But I don't think he was going to get violent or anything like that. Like maybe, but like it just didn't. Usually, I have like a gut feeling that like, oh, this person's dangerous. You know, like. But I didn't really get that, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe I was just like short tempered that day, and I was like, I just had it, and I was like, bro, shut up.
Read the room, pal.
Yeah, seriously. So it just depends. Like, if somebody has their hands in their pockets or something, like you should probably not. And they're angry or something, like you should probably step away or something. Like you don't ever know what's going to be in their pocket, and like I don't know, just keeping your eye around, like keeping your eye on their hands and what people are doing, and like just being like constantly vigilant and seeing on whether or not someone is like kind of aggressive or not. And if they are, you know, I'm gonna more than likely remove myself from that situation. I'll like hop onto a different train car, or I'll tell the bus driver or something, you know, like, I just, you know, you got to stay safe and you have to stay vigilant. In the city.
And we could talk CTA stories all day. Let's talk about the good things. What are some of your favorite parts about Chicago? Why do you think Chicago is one of the greatest cities, and what makes you stick around for so long?
Definitely like the arts and the culture and the people here. It's so diverse. You know, you can get like Japanese food, Mediterranean food, Indian food, Puerto Rican food, Mexican food, you know, whatever, you know, you can Korean barbecue. Like I love eating. I love food. I love trying stuff. I love cooking. I worked in restaurants for, you know, many years. So like the food culture here is amazing. And a lot of my friends do like pop-ups and stuff, like food pop-ups, like Johnny's Table, Logan Oyster Socials. You know, they're two of my friends, you know, starting their own businesses, and they're also very inspiring too, not just like having art friends, but just having like entrepreneur friends, you know, culinary friends, all this stuff. People that are, you want to surround yourself with people that are following their passions and doing, you know, shit like that, because that's, you know, obviously what you want to do too. So yeah, they're very inspiring. And just like the culture, there's always something to do here. You know, I lived in Denver for like a year and a half, but I moved back because there was just, I wanted more variety, man. I was getting bored out there already, like quick. It's beautiful. I love hiking and like all that stuff too. There's a lot of amazing, you know, qualities to it, but you get bored. You get bored.
Very granola.
Yeah. I wanna be in you know, in a city, and like, you know, there's always stuff going on, and like art shows and lots of opportunities, and like, there's just more stuff going on here. I have like a busy brain, and I'm a busy lady, and I like being like, you know, out and about, and, you know, busy, or like doing stuff, and like, it's just inspiring to see how active the city is in it, and you know, it makes you want to be a part of it.
Do you have a favorite neighborhood in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm going to be biased and say Avondale, because, I mean, that's where I grew up and stuff. But, I mean, currently, right now, it is, like, really popping, you know. It's got Bucket of Blood, you know, Demon Tap, I really like Beer Temple, like that. In that corner, Belmont, California, Elston is like on hot. It's super hot right now. I love it. Yeah, and then the Guanajuato's right there too. You get some good tacos, and they have fresh juice, like orange carrot juice. I love it. It's so good. Yeah, they have a lot of like the river right there is in Avondale. I love walking like along the river by like Lane Tech. You can like rent a canoe and like go canoeing there. They're doing those like concerts right there on the river. That's right there on Belmont and like Rockwell, so that's Avondale. Yeah, we're doing a lot of art stuff. The alley moved there too. I mean, they've kind of always been there. That was like their like warehouse, before like the storefront and then the warehouse. So they kind of just moved to the warehouse. But yeah, it's like it's awesome, especially for like the alternative cultures. The horror house used to be there too, but they moved a little bit more. I think if it's still Avondale or Logan Square technically, but they're still around. Yeah, so just so many cool things in Avondale. Yeah, shout out Avondale.
Shout out Avondale.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole area is so fun, especially being up along the river. There's bike trails out there too.
Yeah, oh, I love it. Yeah. If you do like BMX biking too, there's like right there on the river, they have like dirt jumps, like bike jumps there. I used to go there when I was a kid and like go on those jumps. It was so fun. Yeah. So there's a lot of hidden gems in Avondale for sure. Yeah, like naturey, but also like the Beer Temple, like I said, like nightlife stuff too, and like arts and culture, and lots of neighborhood, very kid friendly. Beautiful parks. Yeah, shout out Avondale.
You know that area kind of by Lane Tech, like up along the river, that used to be an old theme park back in the day.
Yeah, Riverview, right? I think it was called Riverview or
Yeah.
River Point or something. Yeah. I like learning about that history too. It was really cool.
It's cool to see like some before and after shots of it, because Lane Tech is huge. It's such a massive school, but it's wild to think that only takes up maybe like an eighth of that entire landmass that used to be a big
Yeah,
old amusement
no,
park.
that was so cool. I kind of wish it was still there, but
That'd be epic, wouldn't
yeah,
it?
that would be sick. Yeah.
Man.
They used to have, even at Lane Tech, they would have like their carnivals. I don't know if they still have that for like fundraiser for the school.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was fun, but I don't know if they still do that. I haven't seen it in a while.
Huh.
Bring it back.
Yeah. You a Chicago sports fan at all?
No, not really. I'm not a big fan of sports in general. Especially in like the education system, kind of need to divert that funding from the sports and bring it to the arts, So I'm kind of like, but yeah, I mean, I like sports. I can see how it like brings people together and stuff like that. Like, I was working at a Mexican restaurant during like the World Cup, and we had this tiny little TV in the corner, and they had the game on, and then there was like 4 different customers that we had. They were all started off in different tables, and like they're all different ethnicities too. And then by the end of their meals, they were all together at that one little table, like watching the game. And I was like, man, this is beautiful. Like that's cool. I like how it brought people together that way. But other than that, I'm not really a fan of like how overpaid they are, and all the other stuff, and the how I could just go on with why I don't like sports. Anywho, next question.
Where am I on this? What do you think is about the Chicago art scene that makes it so special, that people that aren't from here, what's something that they should know about the scene itself and why it cultivates so many great artists?
I mean, if you're not from here and you want to like explore the art scene and stuff, I would just say go to different galleries, go to art openings. A good way to like get a bunch in at once is going to those bigger art studios. Like I was saying, like a Bridgeport Art Center, Xiaobi Art Center, Flatiron Arts Building. I'm trying to think of other ones that are like big buildings that have like multiple studios in there, but those are like the big 3 that I like to go to whenever they do have open studio. Especially the Bridgeport Art Center. There's a lot of really cool artists in there, like Rahman Static. He's like a really cool muralist. He's been around for a long time. I admire him very much. And yeah, he has open studios, so you can go and check out his stuff, check out his work, talk to him. And that's pretty much how it is when like there's any art show going on, or any like, especially like open studios, like specifically that, where you can go into the artist's studio space. That's a really cool thing to explore. Same thing, the Flatiron Arts Building. I haven't been there in a long time, but there's some really cool galleries in there, and the really cool like studio spaces that are just like completely covered in like art and beads and like just a bunch of cool wacky stuff. So definitely check out those like larger studios. But a lot of galleries that I like going to are and that I like being a part of and like participate in is like Agitator Gallery, run by this lady named Gretchen. She's really awesome, you know, huge supporter of the arts. Pilsen Art and Community House on like right by the Pink Line. They do a lot of really cool art shows, a lot of like just like meaningful art shows too that like send powerful messages to people. So yeah, I really like Pilsen Art and Community House. Happen Space Gallery is kind of like up north. It's run by this artist named Rodney Duran, and he's like an amazing muralist too. He's got a really cool space up there, and yeah, I want them to do more shows. It's kind of like his studio space, but they've been doing more shows, and like it's really cool. I want them to do more.
Yeah, there's always something going on here in the city, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah.
Well, we're getting to just about that time to kind of wrap up here. I was wondering, did you have any last messages that you kind of wanted to send out to the world before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, just thank you for watching, and thank you for, you know, being interested in what I have to do. I couldn't do it without, you know, you guys and your support. So thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it because shit's tough. So any comment, or, you know, when somebody goes to my show or buys something or shares my art, it all really adds up and makes a difference. So thank you.
And you are getting a lot of good comments in here too. Squeakstart Zula is giving us a lot of love. My dad just tuned in. He said, "Hey, from Aiden and Freya, my niece and nephew are with. Big fans of your work too."
Yay.
Yeah, no, we've got a lot of them here. Inferno Art, Inferno Fire said shout out. And we also got some love from DJ Bobby as well.
Yay, Bobby.
Yeah, Mr. Bobby.
Yay. Thank you guys.
Well, Natalia, I just want to say I'm incredibly inspired by you. I thought having you on board today and you talking about this all in depth was so enlightening, and you're really doing a powerful thing here with the art. I know I mentioned it 5 times. Art is important for the community.
Totally.
And you really are doing it. You know, there's a lot of people that are talking the talk and they're not walking the walk, and you're really doing it. And I just want to say, anything you do in the future, please let us know. We'd love to come and help support you.
Thank you.
And your message is important. Your art is important. The meaning and the feeling that you're giving behind it is important. And we wish you nothing but the best here at Hawk Winds. And keep doing it. You're kicking ass.
Thank
you're
you so
totally
much.
kicking
No,
ass.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're excited to see where your art goes from here. And it's nothing but up from here, Natalia.
Hell
Thank
yeah,
you.
no, I feel the same way, and same thing for you guys. So thank you so much for like creating this platform for artists and stuff, because I've already discovered a lot of artists thanks to you guys, just like watching your channel. So it's working.
That's awesome. That means a lot to us. Give me some love here.
Hell
Come
yeah,
on.
thank you.
Natalia, thank you very, very much for joining us
No,
today.
anytime.
Well, let's wrap it up here, Jay Smooth. Natalia's information is going to be down in the description below. Please check out some of her art. Follow her on the social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. It's going to be down in the description below. If you like the video tonight, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. It means the entire world to us artists to just hit that like and share button. It doesn't cost you anything. It's click. That's all it is. It's super easy. Yeah, check it out. Some of our other episodes as well. And again, we're coming to you live every Wednesday from Q4 Radio. And again, if you know of anyone who would like to be a part of the show, please send them our way. Send us a direct message. Let us know when you're available. Show us some of your art. We'd love to have you on board. And Jay Smooth, you got any last words for the people out there?
Just like Nike said, just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. And I think that is going to be maybe our word to the people for the last message of the night. We always try to encourage everybody, give them a little inspiration at the very end of the show. And it's going to be just that. Just do it. Just go out, do the art. Like Natalia was saying, having the setup, I know, is a super hard thing to do sometimes, just to have it there. Do it. Set a timer on your phone. Say, give yourself an hour. Force yourself to do it. Give yourself an incentive at the end of it. You don't get that cigarette or that Zyn until you're done doing your art. Yeah, just go do it. Just go do it. Your messages and the feelings from your art means a lot to a lot of people. And you just won't know how impactful it is until you actually release it and you do it. And I think you're going to find in your heart that you really needed to let that out, especially during Men's Mental Health Month. Isn't that this month? I don't know. They never really talk about it these days anymore. But do it. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to make the world better. It's going to make you happy. It's going to make everybody happy. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Thank you guys for tuning in to Hawkwind's Radio Picture Show. My name is Jack Dwyer.
And I'm Jay Smooth.
You guys have a great Wednesday night. We'll see you next week. Peace and love. And chicken grease. And coconut weed grease. No, totally going to use that on my
Yeah.